Everybody, it's Kendra. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you've been here before. So if you saw my video last week, you know that I did a CSA unboxing video. So if you didn't see that video, CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. So for the next 30 weeks, actually the next 28 because I've already done 2, I'm going to be getting a box of produce every week. So throughout the CSA season, I will be doing videos to show you exactly what I got each week, but then I'm also going to be making videos to talk about how I'm using this produce, because the thing with CSAs is you get what you get. You don't get to choose what you get. I know there are some CSAs that have kind of unique programs, but in general with a CSA, you get a box of stuff and you don't really have a lot of choice over what's in it. So, and sometimes you get weird stuff, like you get new things, sometimes strange things you have never cooked with before. So I kind of take a CSA as like a challenge, like a cooking challenge. Like, what is this stuff and what can I do with it? So anywho, I'm going to take you along on my CSA journey in the kitchen and show you how I am attempting to use everything, because I am a no waste gal. I don't want to throw anything away. I don't want to just push something to the back of the fridge and be like, I don't know what to do with that. I'm just going to let it rot. No. I'm going to use everything up, or I'm going to really make a solid effort to use everything, and I'm going to share that with you guys. So anywho, my recipe today is going to be for a pesto. So this is not going to be like your traditional basil pesto with that, really bright traditional basil garlic parmesan flavor, but I call this a pesto, and it's going to kind of have like a pesto-y vibe. So today I'm going to be using ramps. So these are basically wild onions. These have been foraged. So I've got 3 bunches of ramps, and I'm going to be using the bulb, and I'm also going to be using the green part. So this is what I mean, like when I say low waste. If I get something from the CSA and there's like a part of it or a leaf, if that's edible, I'm going to use it. I'm going to figure out a way how to use it. And then I'm also going to be using green garlic. So I've got 1 bunch of green garlic. I've got 5 green garlic stalks, things. I don't really know what the bulbs. So this as well, I'm going to be using all of the green stuff too. I mean, I'll probably chop it off around here just because the end is getting a little dry and kind of yellow, so I'll chop that off. But yeah, green garlic, you can use the bulb, you can use the green part, and this is garlic, even though it looks like a green onion. I'm also going to be using some chives, so I'm probably going to use about half of this today, just because I really like chives, and I like to, just chop up some chives to use as a garnish on various dishes. So I don't want to use all of this up, because I still have a couple more days before my next CSA share. So yeah, we're gonna get some nice, that bright, yummy, chivey, springtime oniony flavor from these. And then the final thing from my CSA that I'm going to use is my bunch of nettles. So these are stingy nettles, that's why they're in the bag, and I'm being very careful not to actually touch them because I don't feel like having my skin irritated for the next 2 or 3 hours. So I'm going to show you how to blanch these, just to get rid of the stingers and make it a little bit safer to eat. So the thing with nettles, they don't have a super distinct flavor. It's not like when you add basil to a pesto, you've got that amazing basil brightness. The nettles, they're kind of bland. Once they've been blanched, they kind of just remind me of a cooked spinach, they're fine. So I'm not really using the nettles for flavor, but I'm using the nettles for nutrition, because nettles are super nutrient dense, and they're just kind of gonna bulk up my pesto, make more of it. And again, I don't want to dump anything, so I'm gonna be using all of these. I feel like I'm getting married. I feel like this is my little wedding bouquet. Oh, how lovely. So those 4 ingredients are the things that I'm using from the CSA. As far as other ingredients go, I'm going to be using olive oil, salt, pepper, hemp seeds, and pine nuts. If you don't have hemp seeds or pine nuts, it's totally fine, but I would use some type of nut. I think walnuts could work well as a substitute, maybe macadamia nuts, something like that, some type of nut that kind of has a creaminess to it, maybe even cashew. Cashew might be nice in this as well. Also, I am making this version of pesto vegan, but if you're totally cool with cheese, I would definitely dump in a whole bunch of Parmesan, because I mean, Parmesan and pesto, that's just perfection, right? Okay, anywho, let's make some pesto. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is toast up some pine nuts and some hemp seeds. So I've got my organic pine nuts from Costco. I'll probably be using maybe like half a cup. So I'm toasting my pine nuts just over kind of medium-high heat, and I'm just gonna stay here and keep on stirring these babies up for a while. You do not wanna walk away when you are toasting nuts. It definitely seems like it's pretty boring and like nothing's happening, but then it's, you know, in an instant, these will start to turn golden, and then obviously if you're not there, they will just start to burn. So I'm doing the pine nuts first before I put in my hemp seeds, just because the hemp seeds are so small and they don't need to toast for that long. I'm starting to smell a little bit of toastiness, and you see like right here, we're getting a little bit of toasty. So now I'm gonna add in my hemp seeds. Oh yeah, we're getting some nice brown, some nice toastiness. This smells super good. You don't want burn, you just want a little bit of color, and you want that nice flavor. Yum. I'm starting to see some of my hemp seeds get nice and toasty as well. All right, so I think this is probably pretty good. I don't want stuff to burn. All right, so now to prep the nettles. I've rinsed my nettles pretty well, and I've got some water that's about to boil here. I'm gonna put the nettles in, still holding on with the plastic bag. And then I'm just gonna cut here. And I'm gonna get all the nettles down into the water, because this is gonna get rid of that stinging sensation. So I'm gonna blanch these babies for a couple minutes, and you'll already see the water is becoming this beautiful green, like this beautiful brown green. And I'm actually gonna save the liquid, because that is gonna make a beautiful, beautiful tea. And isn't that just so pretty? Such a bright, vibrant green. All right, so that should be about good. Now I'm gonna just transfer them to a bowl to let them cool down. And I'm gonna save this beautiful liquid to drink later. All right, and for the ramps, I just wanna show how I clean them very quickly. So I cut off the ends, cut off the roots, and then you'll see some of this, you know, this kind of translucent, transparent, kind of gooey skin sort of stuff. If there is any of that, I just kind of rub it off, just like that. I don't do much to clean these, and then I will give these all a good rinse once I am finished. So like this one's got some yuckiness on it. I just kind of, whoop, get it all off. All right, so I just gave my ramps a nice rinse. I wanna make sure that there isn't any dirt or debris in the leaves. Obviously, I'm gonna rinse the bulb part really well, but I also wanna make sure the leaves are very clean. For the green garlic, I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing. I'm gonna cut off the root, but then this I probably will take off kind of this outer skin. And then I'll say maybe cut off like right about there. Very similar to cleaning a green onion. All right, we'll give these a quick rinse and then we're good to go. And as for prepping the chives, I just gave them a quick rinse, and I'll probably slice off about this much once I'm making the pesto. All right, and now finally to prep the nettles, I'm just gonna go through here and clip off the leaves and remove the stems. The stems are totally fine, and I actually did make this pesto last week, and I used the stems and it was fine, but I think it might be nicer without the stems. So I'm just gonna go through, snip off the leaves, and you know, if I like leave some stems in there, it's totally okay too. And I'm just gonna give these guys a quick strain to get out some of that liquid. And of course, yes, I will be drinking that liquid afterwards. All right, so now I'm gonna put everything into my food processor and get going. So let's do the chives first, because that's on top of my pile. I'm just gonna take a scissors and, you know, take what I want, about half of that bunch. That'll be good. Next, putting in my nettles. All right, some green garlic. Now, as you can see, I clearly do not have the largest food processor in the world, so I am gonna have to do some of the ramps in stages. I'll just start with what I can. There's probably like one bunch I can get in here. If you don't already use scissors in your kitchen, I would absolutely recommend it. And I can put the pine nuts and hemp seeds in now too. Gonna add a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm gonna grind up this first amount, and then we'll add the rest of the ramps. Also adding in a bit of salt and some pepper. Since I'm not using Parmesan, I do find that I like to add a fair amount of salt into this just to make up for that saltiness. So this definitely will need more olive oil, but first I want to add in more of my ramps. Ooh, I hope I can fit everything in. I need a bigger food processor. All right, and also while I'm gonna grind this up, I'm gonna add in some olive oil while it's going. And then finally, one last time for my last addition of ramps. This pesto is gonna be mighty ramped up. So I'm gonna keep grinding this up, adding some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and I'm gonna keep doing that until I get it to the consistency that I like. Now, if you do not have a food processor, you could also do this in a blender. A blender will give you a much more consistent texture. Like this is still kind of chunky, but a blender is gonna make it a really, really smooth, lovely pesto. It's really good. Ooh, very rampy, yummy, but it needs some salt. Like a lot of salt. And a bit more oil. All right, so I'm very happy with this texture, with its consistency. This is lovely. It still has some texture to it. It's not completely smooth, but it's got that nice pastiness that you want from a pesto. All right, and now finally, I'm gonna show you how I freeze this. So I'm gonna be using one of these nice silicone ice cube trays. If you don't have a silicone tray, it's totally fine. You could use a regular tray, but these are way easier to pop the cubes out of. So I'm just gonna fill them up. Smoosh it all down in there. I'll probably end up doing a second tray too. I seem to have a whole lot of pesto. Isn't that so pretty? That green is just stunning. So I like to fill them up, and then I like to smooth them out to really make sure everything is nice and filled. All right, and now I'm gonna cover them each with a plastic wrap and kind of gently push it on there. And then I'm gonna pop them in the freezer. All right, so now the cubes are totally frozen. I'm gonna flip this over and run hot water over this side and then just pop them out. All right, so now I just pop them into a freezer container. I'm gonna throw this back in the freezer. And then when I wanna use this, all I'm gonna do is just throw the cube into whatever I'm cooking, still frozen, let it melt, stir it up, and we're good to go. And as always, be sure to label and date whatever you're freezing. All right, so there you go. This is how much pesto I ended up with. This is a 2-cup jar. So I got 2 cups of pesto after freezing all the stuff. So I'm really glad I froze it because this is a lot of pesto for 2 people. So this will be great on pasta, gluten-free pasta. You can mix this in with rice, put it over sauteed or steamed vegetables. This would even be great as like a spread on a sandwich. Or you could even, you know, maybe thin this out with a little water or nut milk or regular milk or cream, make a little salad dressing. That would be super, super yum. So I ended up using all the ramps, all the green garlic, all of the nettles, and then this is how much I have left for the chives. So anywho, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you got a little bit of cooking inspiration. You know, cooking can be fun. You can be creative and playful with it. Just enjoy. I never follow a recipe to a T. I always like add a little bit. I use it as a basis. So use what you've got, use what is seasonal, and create something delicious. So thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.